Nothing's as bad as Rise of the Robots.
Well,
Really?
there's other ones out there that are worse.
Really? I have Rise of the Robots for the 3DO, and it was a laugh fest. It is
I had it
horrible.
on. I had it on PC, which was much faster at the time, and it was still just as bad to play it.
It's horribly designed. What's wild about it is it sold well enough based on its graphics alone,
Yeah.
and Brian May from Queen does the guitar, which is fine guitar work, but you're looking, most kids got it on non-CD based consoles, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis.
So it's just little loops.
So it's like, nee, 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 and it doesn't even sound like, I don't know. But they actually had the balls to bring that out in a sequel, which I also have for the Saturn.
Wow.
And the big upgrade here, the big upgrade is you could play multiplayer with 2 different people. You didn't have to be the cyborg. Yeah, I don't know if you remember this about the original. You could only be the
there's
cyborg.
only the one character.
Unless you played 2-player, in which case you could go and use them all.
Oh,
Horrible design choice.
not my version. My version, there were just two different colored cyborgs.
Nice.
That was all you could play, even 2-player.
Ugh. My version actually had little KKK hats, you know?
Huh.
Rise of the Robots KKK style? No. Thank God, no. Thank God, no.
Yeah, I'm glad
Yeah.
that whoever did that game never got a chance to infect another game with that particular imagery, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I hope they at some point wisened up about their political,
Yeah, I
racial
hope.
beliefs and got a
Yeah.
job with a programming company.
Kind of reckoned with their folks, as they're going to have to do, and their grand folks, and their grand folks. Ugh. I will say that my guilty pleasure, along those lines, though, is probably BMXXX. I have to...
Yeah.
I have to say, I bought BMXXX. I still think that it's a striking game, considering this. This is why the game is important.
Is it 3X's or 4X's in that title?
I think it's 3.
Because is it BMX triple X
Plus-
or is it
Oh, well...
BM triple X? Because there's all sorts of ways you can go with that
right,
one.
exactly. I'm all going down the chute with that one. I think it's actually...
And Frank Zappa strikes again.
yeah, oh, you know it. But,
He's everywhere,
he
really.
is.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
still contributing.
Yeah.
Aside from, what is it, Amit Dweezil and
Moonbeam. Moonbeam, I think.
Yeah.
Moonraker. Something like that. Yeah, definitely. Which
Yeah.
is cool. I'm not trashing on those guys or their names.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because if anything's harder than being the child of Frank Zappa, it would be being the child of Frank Zappa and having a name that even
that says as much.
the underclassmen girls will try to beat you up on the playground for.
Yeah, it's a raw deal, and it's just because, you know, for some of them want to be more celestial themselves and sort of pissed off, or others who are just thinking you're stage, you're what is it, upstaging me. With a name like that, you know you're going to be known around school. You might not be popular in the good way, but I assure you, Moonbeam was known.
Well, and the funny thing is that until recently, I imagine Amit was probably the most well-adjusted of them.
He was. I saw him on TV.
Yeah.
He was a judge.
Yeah. And, you know, Dweezil and Moonbeam probably were the ones that got beaten up a lot.
Dweezil, yeah. That's probably the roughest of the bunch, I would say. Dweezil's rough.
Which is funny because he's got the most lucrative career of
Does
the
he?
3 of them.
Oh, yeah, he still does music.
He's the one that's entertaining and is always on the VH1 specials.
Is it?
As the go-to
It
person
is
on
Dweezil.
information.
You're right. Not Ahmed. Yeah. No, but the BMXXX is actually excuse me, an extremely good game. Now I'm not saying that it's any better than the Dave Mirra 2 that came out alongside it, because it's the same engine. One's naughty, one's not naughty. But I have to say, it's really remarkable for a number of reasons, I think. What's going on?
Hi.
And one is, I think probably the most significant beyond the general quality of the gameplay, is the fact that the R-rated version came out for the GameCube and the Xbox, not the PS2. Now the PS2, as you know, is as close to a free-for-all as you're going to get within the console world. You have some games that are pretty over the... God of War, for instance, comes to mind. Massive hit, really pretty raunchy.
Yeah, well, especially with the... is it unlockable scenes in that one?
Yes. There's actual nudity in that game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the funny thing is that Grand Theft Auto is the game that people complain about when games are available on the kid-friendly systems that are much worse.
That's what was so remarkable about it. The PS2 version is just, you know, BMXXX, and that's the game. And you have your cover. It's a very simple title cover. But on the Xbox and the GameCube versions, and I'm amazed this got through by Nintendo, or they just kind of gave the thumbs up. It says keep it dirty. There's a seal on it that says keep it dirty, and those two versions have the dirty stuff in it. And it's amazing that like this purple lunchbox that plays video games is the one with like keep it dirty. Oh, there's some nudity, by the way. Yeah. Like straight up nudity.
Well, and the thing that always struck me as funny is that, you know, I don't expect to hear a lot about of people complaining about, you know, vulgarity or whatever in,
yeah, it's kind of commonplace
say,
now.
a Microsoft game, because it's sort of known to be the adult system, full of blood, gore, everything.
Yeah.
The PS2 is, I guess, the original mass market system.
Yeah, it's
really.
every man's machine. Yeah.
And so I could see why it catches a lot of press for things like Grand Theft Auto, or there was another one that was really big that everybody complained about, but
yeah, there are a few.
You know,
Manhunt
Silent Scope
big.
They had a problem with.
Manhunt was big. Yeah, Silent Scope was kind of eerie for some people. That was Dreamcast era as well.
Supposedly it was, you know, the sniper training game, even though it was...
Which is bull.
It was probably one of the most arcade-like games.
Yeah, it was, yeah, totally
not realistic
arcade.
at all, and there are games available for, I want to say, even PS1, that are like government sharpshooter type games that are much more realistic, much more sniper training games than what ever complained about them.
In the arcades, the actual arcades, there's the police training, police training unit, blah, blah. Anyway, you can shoot dummies and stuff, and it's literally more like a simulation. It's much less realistic in the sense that you're shooting realistic-looking people, but it's more realistic as a trainer because they're like, you're at training, shoot. You know, it's weird.
Yeah, and it just struck me as odd that, you know, Xbox and PlayStation 2 are the ones that get in the media for violating the ESRB codes and all that stuff, which they're really not violating them. It's just the senators that are complaining about it don't really bother to actually investigate what they're complaining about.
And some games legitimately push it, you know?
Yeah, as a selling point. And frankly, if you can get enough controversy around your game, it doesn't matter how bad the game is, people are going to buy millions of copies to see what it is the senators are complaining about, which is something that I'm surprised they haven't picked up on yet.
Yeah.
Because, frankly, Grand Theft Auto would not be the popular series it is if it hadn't been for people saying, this is the most raunchy, most horrible series ever. Nobody should play this game.
Rotting minds.
So rush out and buy it to see what we're talking about.
Right. That's true.
Because, honestly, Grand Theft Auto, though it has a very good set of mini-games and is a very good main storyline, it would not have had as many sequels and expansion packs.
Very well produced.
And issues. In fact, I don't think even The Sims would have had so many if it hadn't been for the fact that there was a bunch of controversy over those games.
Word of mouth is essential, and there's no better way to get people talking than bad stuff.
Yeah.
I agree, and it works.
In fact, if you recall, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was not selling very well until the whole hot coffee thing came out.
See,
and then it became one of the best-selling games they have.
Maybe. I do know that the entire series has done extremely well for itself, and it deserves to have done so, you know. And I, by the way, we come from, and I will delete your name. I'm sorry, I use it naturally.
I don't really care. It's on my MySpace page, so
it will be
deleted. Bother to me.
I mean, it's just part of a policy. I don't use my own name either, and I delete it sometimes if I want to. It's just why not? I mean,
mine's up on my website and stuff, so it doesn't really matter. It's already out there.
Nice. Okay. So anyway, what I was saying though is we come from a very we're big fans. We've been there for a long time, and so in gaming, that is. And so he and I are more or less traditionalists in our roots. You know, he, as long as we've known each other, he tends to, though we're both open-minded, and you know, your machine of choice right now is not a Nintendo-based console, and my machine of choice right now is not a Sega-based console.
Yeah.
They are, we still are very much classically Nintendo, classically Sega. And during the 16-bit rage, we were the two teams that would playfully fight with one another at the school grounds and all this stuff.